Well, as you all probably know, yesterday Bungie revealed the Taken King, a bunch of stuff coming up with this new expansion, and personally, I wanted to make this video talking about why I'm not pre-ordering the game, well, the expansion. I'm not pre-ordering, well, I'm not buying anything at all. I'm just so as a lot of you probably know, I quit Destiny a while ago. I don't even remember how long ago it was, but it's very safe to say that it was a long time ago. And, well, not so long, because I tried to get back into it with a Warlock alt. It didn't really work out. So, I just want to talk about why I quit the game, why I may not be coming back for the Taken King, and what I'm doing in the future, and why, all that stuff. So, number one reason why was because the game was just too repetitive. The game, well, Destiny, it didn't ship with a lot of content. I think we all know that. The game store was was lackluster. The PvP was broken, and then really only like a lot of the hours you spend in the game are doing the same exact content. Like, I can't even count the amount of times I've played the Vault of Glass or Crota's End or the Prison of Elders or the Nightfall. It's all like the Nightfall specifically. It's the same. It's a same strike that you played earlier in the game. Just now, every enemy does more damage, or you do more damage, or this happens instead of this. Like, you take more damage in the air and all that stuff. It's really all just artificial playtime, and it's kind of annoying. It can be really annoying and repetitive. The second is because the game was just all RNG. There was no guaranteed way to earn really anything. I can't think of any way that you would earn any gun that's worthwhile in the game today, other than the Stranger's Rifle by completing the story, and the Vestian Dynasty by, I can't remember if it was completing the first mission in the House of Wolves expansion or all of the missions. It was one of those two. It's all really the same thing. You've got the Daily Heroic Story, which is the same story mission you played through earlier in the game. Just instead, there's a new modifier on it, or the enemy, instead of this enemy doing this amount of damage, they do this amount of damage, or you do this amount of damage instead. It's the same thing, just different. In fact, it even is the same exact way to go through it, because at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing. At the Prison of Elders, it doesn't matter what well, actually, it doesn't have burn anymore, but when it had burn, it didn't matter. It simply, like, the Prison of Elders having, let's say, Skolas had a 300% solar burn. It didn't matter if it was solar burn, arc burn, or void burn. You would still stand on that one platform and simply do the same exact thing. And then when the objectives come up, you send one member of your fire team to go out and cap that objective, and that's it. It's the same exact thing. It would just be at the end of the day, you do all of that work for a chance of getting that one reward you really want. That's really probably the reason Destiny has survived for so long. It's simply because so many people are thinking, if I just do this one last story mission, I might get my Gjallarhorn. Or if I just finish this raid, I might finally get my Crux of Crota. Or if I just finish the Prison of Elders, I might finally be able to get my hands on the Lord of Wolves. It's all just that hope and wonder. It's like, can I get it? Can I get it? No? I'll try again next week. That's the biggest reason. The second is because the PvP was just so frickin' unbalanced and annoying. Now, I, for one, am a huge supporter of balance in games, in that the a person who has never played the game before should not be able, well, should have just as much ability to kill a person who's been playing the game for years and years and years, if that new player is the better player. Not simply because, well, I'm not saying like, say, Call of Duty, where if I shoot you from behind with 3 bullets, you're instantly dead. And that's I don't like. Like, I'm sure the game is fun and everything. I digress. But, I mean, when the Destiny beta first came out, the alpha even, and the early game before everybody started getting their hands on Fatebringer and the Secret Handshake and the Vex, the game was pretty balanced and skill-based. It was all, everybody, like, the most powerful gun in the game at the time, during the beta and alpha, was an uncommon auto rifle known as the Sidonia AR-3. And, you know the reason it was the best? Was because it killed in half a second faster than the other auto rifles. That was it. It didn't really matter because there were no Zen moment. There was no, actually elemental damage doesn't matter in PvP, but there weren't any, I guess you could say, comparably game-breaking perks to each weapon. Like you would have like your reload speed is increased after a kill or something like that. And the game was actually very, very skill-based. And now you got Thorn, which there are very few counters to Thorn, and there is no guaranteed way to get your hands on Thorn. You could say the Vanguard bounty, but you have to be lucky enough to get an exotic bounty. And then you have to be lucky enough for one of those exotic bounties to be the Light in the Darkness, the one that lets you Thorn. That's it. That's how you get Thorn. That is the only way to get Thorn. I'm sure you could say Hawkmoon, but nobody really uses Hawkmoon anymore. Simply because Thorn is that much better. The final reason is simply because I got sick of Bungie's promises. Now, I do not hate Bungie. I am probably one of the biggest Bungie fans out there. Halo was the reason I am a gamer today, and the fact that Bungie, the creators of Halo, and one of the greatest stories ever, was going to make a game. They marketed it to be all about the story. Was making a game. That's what sold me. And I guess you could definitely say I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed with what happened. And it seems like, and I definitely do agree with a common belief that's going around, which was that the original Destiny release was a beta for the real game. They were using a business model, I can't quite remember what that name is, but it's basically where you release your product, and it's okay. It looks good and everything. It plays well and everything, but it's really bare bones, just a skeleton. And then you let the people who play it decide what they want and what they like, what they don't like, and then you make your game. And you see they had the quote-unquote Destiny beta, but according to Bungie, that was already 25% of the game, and when it came out, it didn't change much at all. And in case you notice, it's one of the greater business models you could go to as far as finance, because instead of simply, like, say they could have paid a focus group to do it or something like that, but it really would not make as much money as simply releasing your vanilla game. And everybody has their criticisms, you update it over time, and then you make a sort of big update and release it. But instead of simply releasing it for free and asking what they like, you release it for a fee, which would be in this case $35. And of course they take it and everything. Then they offer their feedback. You release another $35 version, and another, which is fixing a bunch of other stuff, and then the year later you fixed everything, and then you release the game that you intended to make in the first place. That is the biggest reason why I've stopped playing Destiny. Of course, I'm probably coming back for the Taken King, but I'm definitely gonna wait. I mean, there is, as far as I can tell, there is no real reason I shouldn't wait. I'm not pre-ordering the Taken King, so I'm not be getting all of those bonuses, but personally, I really don't care that much about a Black Shader or a Black Sparrow, because I know that everybody's just going to go back to their Vault of Glass or Crota's End or Dark Below Tumbler Sparrow anyway. So, anyway guys, that is the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. It would mean a lot. And if you're feeling generous, subscribe. And I'll see you later.